Just a quick review of the Makita brushless 10-inch sliding miter saw. I got this saw about 3 months ago. I wanted to love this thing so bad. It is a good saw, it's super powerful. It doesn't get bogged down when it gets a little bit of resistance when cutting through anything. The dust collection on it is fantastic, especially when hooked to a vac. Even without a vac, it does really well. The slide on it is super smooth. Overall, it's a really, really good saw. There are a few issues that I've had with it, and I'm going to go over those next. So the biggest issue I have is the detent plate. It came out of the box not super square, and I've worked with it a lot to try to get it dialed in. I've shifted the plate forward, as some people have recommended, but the problem is I still have a little bit of wiggle in the zero notch. I don't know if you can see that or not. A little play in it. So there's no true zero with it. I've adjusted the fence time and time and again. The biggest problem is that these two are not 100% in line, and the way this fence is made, this piece circles around and it's all one piece. So if it's a little bit bent from the factory, which I think mine is, there's really no adjusting it. You can tweak it a little bit back and forth to get it, but there's really not a whole lot you can do if one of them is slightly out. So that's one issue. That's a major problem for me. The other issue I have is this plate back here was not 100% square with the saw. I ended up getting it right by adjusting this set screw, pushing it in, which then pushed this forward. The problem with that now is, though, that in order to bevel the saw to do any kind of cut, you're supposed to remove these plates. I can't remove this plate now that I've put that set screw in so hard to straighten it up to a 90 to this plate. So I can remove it, but every time in order to do that, I would have to loosen that set screw up and then to recalibrate it each time, put it back on, tighten the screw with my square and square it back up again, which is just unrealistic. The other final issue that I have is I think I finally got it pretty close to square to a 90. This way 45 works great. This way 45 is off. It's maybe about a 44 degree when the detent plate is locked at a 45. I've talked to some other people and they recommended to, bore out this little plate in order to adjust it. But for a brand new saw, I should not have to go through that much effort. So this saw is now going to be dedicated with a lesser tooth blade, a little bit more aggressive, and I'm going to start using it for cutting stair treads and that kind of thing, where the detent plate is kind of not super necessary, and I just go off of a scribed line anyway most of the time. So that's what I'm going to start using this for. So if you're thinking about getting a saw, I would recommend it. I think you just need to make sure that when you get it, you check everything really well and make sure that it's square, or you can adjust it to square right out of the box. I should have been a little bit more diligent with that when I first got it, but this is what I'm left with now. So it's a good saw. Like I said, a lot of power, great dust collection. If I could get the detent plate adjusted and or fixed and the back fence straight, then I think that this saw would be a game changer, and I would use it for every application possible. The battery life on it is great. We can run almost all day with sporadic use. We've been swapping the batteries out at lunchtime just to be on the safe side, but overall, like I said, great saw. If the exactness of the square and that kind of thing is not a huge deal, then like for framing, this would be a great saw, I think. But anyway, those are my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think.